Welcome back to another edition of the pH Factor. We're really glad to talk this month with you about water conservation. And our big partner for that is the Madison Water Utility. We're going to talk with Amy Deming now to get into all this great information, statistics we have about an effort we've been working on together since 2016, but also the water utility has some exciting things happening right now for all of its customers about saving water, paying attention to that, and how you can also save money. So Amy, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, and I'm really excited to talk about all this. And I went to your website recently and also checked your Facebook page and saw you have some timely things happening right now, more ways to get people more conscious and aware of water that they might be wasting in their homes and not know about it. So tell us a little bit about some of those efforts.
Yeah, so this is actually a really important week for water utilities. It's National Fix a Leak Week. It's an effort organized by WaterSense to raise awareness about how keeping an eye on our water leaks can reduce your water use and make us a more sustainable community. 1 in 10 households in the US has a leak that wastes 90 or more gallons per day of water. And it really only takes about 10 minutes to check your home or look around your business and see if you could be losing water through leaks.
I think it's amazing. You said National Fix a Leak Week. There have been some things here the water utility was doing already to kind of help people with that. I was reading too, are there ways to people can test this and it only takes about 10 minutes? Like give us more
Yeah.
information on how people can take advantage of
Yes.
this and be more aware.
Yeah, so for your 10-minute check, the first thing you want to check is your toilet. And unfortunately, most toilet leaks are silent. And so the way that you test for a toilet leak is you take a dye tablet or some food coloring, if you have food coloring in your house, and you just put a little bit of that in the tank in the back of your toilet. And then you let it sit without touching your toilet for 10 minutes. And while that's sitting, you can look around the rest of your house, check your faucets, your shower head connections, your water heater, and other places and see if there's any leaks going on. You can look at your water bill and see if usage is higher than usual. Go online, look at our conservation tool, and while those 10 minutes, once they're up, you take a look at your toilet and see if there's any color in your bowl. And you can kind of barely see it in the picture that I shared on our Facebook. But if you have any hint of color in your bowl from that tank that went in on its own, then you have a leak. And more often than not, that is a toilet flapper leak, which is something that you can repair. Or if it's an older toilet, we have a toilet rebate program at Madison Water Utility where we will give you a $100 credit on your bill if you replace that toilet with a WaterSense rated model. And then besides taking care of that leak issue, you'll be saving water every time you flush with a new toilet. So that's basically, the 10-minute test to check for leaks in your toilet. And that's one of the most common leaks. It's very sneaky since it doesn't make a lot of noise. This type of test and identifying leaks is how we came to this partnership with Project Home, where we have kind of these resources out there about checking for leaks. We have a toilet rebate program, but then there's customers that we have that have barriers to accessing that toilet rebate program or to being able to get a plumber in to repair leaks in their homes. And so that's how this partnership came to be, is us looking at who's out in the community doing work in homes around making them more sustainable, reducing people's monthly bills. And Project Home, of course, rose to the top as someone that's already out doing that kind of work. And that's how this home water conservation partnership came to be. So it's, there's still a toilet rebate component to that that Project Home takes care of, but for low to moderate income homeowners who do this 10-minute test or who have an older toilet that they would benefit from replacing, they can contact Project Home and get assistance and basically help that household not only be more sustainable, but reduce those monthly bills. And these are folks that benefit the most from that bill relief from having a lower bill every month.
All right, you're leading us right into it. So let's talk about some statistics, Amy.
Yeah.
started this program, the home water conservation program with the water utility. So funded by you, we're able to help our customers in different ways that we weren't able to do before, which is fantastic. I will tell you, so many of them are so excited, and I didn't think we'd think people would be this excited about toilets, but they really are. That they can get a new toilet, and the reasons behind it are a big part of it. That the fact that they're going to save water, they're going to help conserve water for, they're doing their part then, as much as they can, and they get to participate in this water conservation, but also they get to save money as well on their water bills, which is huge for them. And like you said, I mean, people that are struggling to, with finances and in a really difficult situation to make sure they can pay their bills, any bit of relief on any of those bills is a big help to them. We have kind of like these income breakdowns of people where they're at. So 80% of the county median income, or CMI, county median income, is considered low to moderate income. So that's about moderate income. And those people qualify for various assistance programs. But 72% of the people we've assisted through this program are actually at 50% of the county median income or below, which is low income. And that is huge. Those are the people we really want to reach with this. And we've been able to do that thanks to you. 50% of them have been senior citizens. About 26% people with disabilities. And then another interesting statistic, because there's a lot of single female homeowners out there. Some of them have children, some of them mothers trying to take care of all the hustle and bustle and things you got to do with kids and everything else, their toilets leaking. 34% of our recipients so far through this have been single female homeowners. So those are some awesome statistics and great people to be assisting within our community. And we couldn't have done it without the water utility getting behind this. So thanks.
Yeah, and I get so excited when I see those statistics because it is exactly the demographic we were hoping to reach with this program when we identified barriers that exist. There's the issue of ability, of being able to do repair yourself or not. There's the issue of transportation, like to go to a home improvement store and pick up a toilet and bring it home. That's a barrier for people to access a traditional rebate program. And then there's also the issue of being time poor, the single parents and people who could be working multiple jobs and have childcare obligations. So yeah, those statistics are so exciting because that shows the success of this program in reaching the demographic groups that we most needed to reach. And that's thanks to, the outreach done by Project Home and the fact that you're also able to look at energy and to look at other kinds of household repairs that people might need. So they're not having to navigate multiple systems or multiple programs to be able to access these services. That's just tremendous as well.
I've got a couple other things to share, and then I want to ask you something interesting, Amy. I
Mhm.
haven't told you about this, so this will be a
Okay.
surprise. But a few other important statistics to highlight. So
Mhm.
far, we have had 38% of the recipients. You talked about, opening gateways and people that maybe don't have as much ability or kind of making sure that we're not leaving people out. 38% of the recipients have been minorities at this point. And that, I told you before, is a higher percentage than some of our other programs here at Project Home. So this project has helped us reach more of the minority community in the Madison-Dane County area, and that's been a big benefit to Project Home too. So not only are we, assisting these people with water issues or water conservation, but more and more of the minority communities are finding out about our repair programs and other things, and that's going to help them with those type of situations at their homes too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just incredible. Racial equity is such a a huge issue for me personally and for the water utility as well to just make sure that it's not just about, economics and other things, but that we're looking at the component of race as well in our programs. And that's uh, just great news that this program is reaching such a high percentage of people of color here in our community.
All right, time to put you on the spot, Amy.
All
Have you
right.
have you changed a toilet?
I actually have, yes. So the pictures on our website for testing a toilet, that's actually a new toilet that I, had installed, and I had to actually spoof the pictures a little or whatever to make it work because there wasn't a leak there. But I did do the actual test to make sure there wasn't a leak. And then when there wasn't, I'm like, all right, well, I got to put a little color in the bowl to take this picture. But yeah, and I did see a difference in my water bill as well. Even though there's only two people in my household, there's still been a change and a reduction in the water use in my condo.
Now, one new feature of the toilet rebates, as we kind of look at that too, because we were talking about the home water conservation program, the partnership with
Mhm.
Project Home, where we're assisting customers that fit the income eligibility and requirements for that. But outside of that, the water utility has had this long-standing toilet rebate program for any of its customers. And so a number of people still have the ability to take advantage of that. Tell us some of the parameters for that project and program.
Yeah, so for our toilet rebate program, it's for our Madison Water Utility customers, and it's open not just to homes, but it's also apartments and businesses and all different, basically all sectors of our customer base. And single family homes can get one $100 bill credit for replacing a existing toilet with an EPA WaterSense rated toilet. And that certification process, those toilets not only use less water, but they also meet performance criteria. So you know you'll be getting a good toilet when you get a WaterSense toilet. And it's also, one per unit for apartments. So making sure that our renters are able to save water, and all our various businesses, whether it's a hotel or a restaurant or an office building, those all use water too. And so this program's available to those customers as well. And since we started that program has saved over 1 billion gallons of water. It's just, this cumulative savings. Here in Madison, you have to go back to the 60s to see, our water use has declined to, the level that we used back in the 60s. And even though our population's much larger, and that's because of people making these upgrades to their fixtures and, whether it's toilets and other things, and also people making an effort to conserve water. It's something to be really proud of as a community and something we'd like to continue to see.
Now, I know, so how the rebate works for all the Madison customers that are interested is they need to purchase a WaterSense toilet, EPA
Mhm.
WaterSense toilet, which is 1.28 gallons per flush or less. And then they fill out a simple rebate application form. I mean, it's pretty simple and pretty basic. And you have a
Yeah.
link right here on the website to it. And once they submit that, how quickly usually are those processed for them to get that bill pay credit?
So it's usually, it might not be the next bill, but in a couple of bill cycles, they'll see that bill credit. And then in cases where it's maybe a property owner that doesn't pay the bill, like their tenants pay the bill or something like that, we do cut a check in those cases. And that might take a couple of extra weeks for them to see that check, but that's also an option that's available to folks.
That's fantastic. Now, I do want to ask you about toilets a little bit more.
Okay.
For a while, there were, some of these newer WaterSense toilets or low flow toilets. So maybe some of the people that are out there that tried some of the early ones didn't like them. What can you tell them about the current WaterSense toilets?
When the low flow regulations first came out in the 90s, the toilets were admittedly not all up to standards as far as how well they performed. And a lot of people have had bad experiences with those. And that's where that WaterSense certification makes a big difference because toilets that are WaterSense certified, not only do they average 1.28 gallons per flush or less, but there's actually pretty strict performance criteria for how those work. Because if you're having to flush multiple times or whatever, then you're not getting any water savings. So it's really important for them to actually work. I personally have a WaterSense rated toilet in my home, and it replaced one that used double the amount of water at least. And it actually works better than the previous toilet that I had. And so that's a question we get a lot. People are worried about if they replace their 5 gallon per flush or 3.5 gallon per flush toilet from, the 80s or before, will they see a downgrade? And it's really not. It's a tremendous upgrade. The technology's really improved, and is really the manufacturers are able to really maximize that little amount of water to be really effective.
At Project Home, we've installed so many of them, and we had some questions, as well, and just talking about the performance of them for people. And all of our customers have been really happy with the new toilets that we put in for them. In addition to that, through our program, you mentioned the plumbing leaks. So far through our partnership, we've repaired, in addition to the toilet replacements to conserve water, more than 25 plumbing leaks as well. How often do those things happen in people's homes too? And how much of a water user can that be? How much more can that add to what people are using in their homes and goes onto their bill?
Water leaks are actually really pretty common. 1 in 10 households has a water leak of some kind. And it varies how much water those use. But even like a dripping faucet or something like that can waste, 100 gallons a day easily. And some toilet leaks, it's hundreds of gallons per day of water lost. And as you can imagine, as that adds up over the course of a month or over the course of multiple months, you can end up with just insurmountably large bill, like hundreds of dollars for that month. And so it's really important to identify and repair those leaks as quickly as possible, because it can really add up quickly.
The other part to that, of course, is water can cause a lot of damage to our homes, to the wood and all these other
Yes,
sort of things.
yes.
So, I mean, that's if you identify a leak and you let it go, you can find yourself in a much bigger repair than you would have ever intended. And that, simple change of a fixture all of a sudden becomes tearing out flooring and redoing framing and
Yes.
all kinds of other things. And you
Or
don't want that.
mold. You don't want
Yeah.
mold, or yeah, it can just, yeah, have tremendous consequences. That's absolutely right.
That's why one of our home repair technicians just did a class. We do some free public education here at Project Home too for homeowners. And someone asked him about caulking around the bottom of your toilet, because a lot
Hmm.
of people like to do that. And he advised not to. And the reason is because if you do that, that can kind of disguise your toilet leaking potentially. So don't put that bead of caulk around the base of your toilet, because then if you do have a water leak, you'll see it much quicker before it becomes a big issue.
Yeah, that's
So,
a really good tip.
little tip.
Absolutely. Yeah.
uh,
I'm trying to think now if I
did you
if I
caulk?
did that
Okay.
or not.
I have a confession to make too. The first toilet I've ever changed was at my parents' house, and I took out
Hmm.
an old 3.5 gallon toilet per flush
Hmm.
and put it in at 1.28. And my mom was a little skeptical. She really was. But now it is her favorite toilet. She loves that toilet. She's really excited to have it in her house. So
Yeah,
there's
when folks call us about their toilet, with questions about the toilet rebate or anything like that, they are usually gushing about the new toilet, and how happy they are with it.
That's fantastic. Amy, one other thing now we talked about with the Fix It League, or what else is the water utility going to be doing this week to kind of highlight that? Are there any other challenges or ways people can participate or just find out more information about different things they can do to conserve water?
Yeah, well, definitely check out our social media. We'll be posting tips throughout the week of things that you can do to check on both our social media and our website. That 10-minute toilet test that I talked about is all laid out there so that you can see how to do that. And then we'll be just sharing as much information as we can about ways to just be aware of our water use. Another thing about water leaks too is water and energy are totally connected to each other in the sense that it takes energy to bring water to your home. If you have hot water waste happening, then that's energy as well. And so all of these things are totally interconnected.
As you mentioned before, too, the other component is it also relates to your health. If you have water leaks, water is the most damaging force, whether it's from the outside or inside, to any sort of building structure. And it can, yes, deteriorate the building itself, but it can also create unhealthy living conditions, which then can cause you health problems. So again, staying on top of those things, checking those things regularly, really important. Also, another spot that often leaks that we find over the years might be sometimes those shutoff valves that are installed under sinks, under faucets. Also, you should have one by your toilet. Like check those regularly, all those areas, because you just don't want water running loose in your house.
Yes.
Stay in the pipes.
I'm so glad you mentioned the shutoff valves. That is such a critical thing to check, not just for leaks, but so that they're working. So if you do have a leak, you're able to make that repair easily and able to isolate that area.
Amy, is there anything else the water utility has going on this year that we should tell people about coming up soon?
We're really hoping to maximize that toilet rebate program. So even if you've already taken advantage of it, let your family members, your friends, other folks know about it. We have a certain amount of funding set aside per year for that program, and we want to make sure that we maximize that each year. So toilets, aren't something people get super excited about, but I get really excited about them because it really is in your house the top user of water. We think about washing machines or we think about other things that use a lot of water, but our toilets, because they're used so often, that's really our top user. And so when you're looking at ways to save water, that kind of low-hanging fruit is always going to be that toilet, and then checking for leaks and making sure that you're not wasting water that way.
Well, Amy, we appreciate you, everything you're doing. We appreciate the Madison Water Utility for working and partnering with us to help some of the low-income customers in the community, and just all the efforts you're doing, because we know there's a whole lot that goes on that the utility needs to take care of so we can have safe drinking water, and also so we can take care of ourselves in our own homes. So we appreciate everything you guys do.
Yeah, and we appreciate you as well. Thank you so much for having me out, and thank you so much for continuing the successful partnership so we can help more people save water and money every day.
That's Amy Deming of the Madison Water Utility. We'll be back next month for another pH Factor here from Project Home.